was working with a real estate investor one year, and he told me that 10% of all of his revenue went to a child cancer hospital. He was passionate about this child cancer hospital. He sat on the board of this child cancer hospital, and he was able to take what he was doing for a living and turn it into a mission. And I wanted to lease his units because I wanted to help him fund that mission and that dream. You can turn any area of passion that you have on your heart that you feel is a calling into utilizing your goals and your strategies and your tactics and tasks. You understand what you've been called or who you've been called to be first, and then you put those goals in place. All right, welcome back. If you want to lease like a conqueror, you have to understand one thing. Conquerors don't move from tactic to tactic. They move from mission. And if you want to move from mission, you have to understand a couple of different things. Number one, when you move from mission, mission improves trust. Mission improves your influence, right? Mission is what helps your business become a force for good, not just a funnel for transactions. And so what does it mean to lease like a conqueror? A conqueror is on a mission, okay? We talked about this in one of the first episodes. We talked about one of the very first things that a conqueror is versus is not is somebody who's on a mission. Think about some of the greatest movies of all time, right? We love these movies. Movies like Mission Impossible. Think about Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. Ethan embodies loyalty, grit, strategy under fire. This dude will sacrifice anything in order to achieve the mission. Or think about Skyfall, James Bond. We love James Bond, driven by duty, loyalty to his country, relentless pursuit of justice. This is all done at personal cost. What about Saving Private Ryan? If we're not just talking about people, look at how mission impacts entire groups of people, right? In the movie Saving Private Ryan, a squad of soldiers risks their lives to find and save one man, driven by duty and brotherhood. This is what mission is. Or you could think to like Zero Dark 30. I know it's a dark movie, but a CIA analyst obsessively hunts Osama bin Laden, providing relentless belief in a mission that shapes history. Obsession, relentless focus on why mission matters. This is Zero Dark 30. Think about The Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne, one of my favorite movie series of all times. You gotta love it. See, the search for truth becomes the mission. The search for justice becomes the mission. And then you have this relentless commitment to truth and justice and pursuit beyond survival. Every conqueror you admire operates from an unshakable mission. They use different tactics, but mission drives their grit, loyalty, and consistency. What's your personal mission? What is it? What's your personal mission? What's your business mission? What's your leadership mission? Okay? These movies showcase a commitment to the mission. What's your company's mission? Why do you exist? There's a reason you're doing what you're doing, and it's got to be beyond money. None of those great movies that we just talked about, none of those characters or people in those movies or teams of people operated at that level of tenacity, of pursuit, of grit, of sacrifice. None of those people operated for money. So if you started a real estate business in order to get rich quick, you're probably in the wrong business because it's not in alignment with your mission. I want you to think about today. Spend some time thinking about what is the mission of my business. I'm going to help define mission because it's more than a goal. It's actually higher. It's the first step on the process. If you see across the screen here, mission leads to goals. Your goals lead to your strategy. Your strategy lead to your tactics to your objectives, and your objectives allow you to set tasks. This is the process that allows you to be able to look at your entire vision as an organization. So, previous show, we talked about optimization. Doesn't take much to look, where do you need to optimize along your vision in order to help you accomplish your mission? Maybe you're not getting tasks done. That's simple. Get the tasks done. Maybe you're not reaching goals. Well, did you look at your strategy? Each piece helps you tell the story of where you're going and where you're in alignment with your vision. And ultimately, that mission needs to be higher than just a goal. It needs to be better than a door count, okay? It needs to be better than fulfillment of leases inside those properties. Here's the facts. People can tell if you're on or off mission. People can tell if you care about some greater perspective, something bigger than the revenue. If they see that you love money, it's going to detract them from building trust with you. Okay. So I know it's real estate investors, right? We're all trying to make money in real estate. I'm a leasing agent. I'm a sales professional. We're all everybody needs to make money. Here's what I want you not to worry about anymore. Please don't worry about what you'll wear. Don't worry about the car you'll drive. Don't worry about the food that you need to eat. All of that stuff is the distraction to your mission. Do you think Ethan Hunt cares about whether he's going to get a cheeseburger or a steak this afternoon? He could care less. Do you think James Bond cares about whether he's driving a Mercedes or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? No, as long as it's a high-end car, the guy doesn't care. Same is true with you. Why do you worry about what house you're going to live in, or what your car is, or what boat you can afford this week? Why are you setting goals and not setting missions first? That's the question that I've had to ask my own self over my own life's journey, is that I was very goal-oriented. When I first started, guys, I really struggle with this concept because I'm a very goal-oriented person. You give me a goal, man, I'm like a dog on the meat bone. I'm after that goal. I had to learn that being goal-oriented, as I got into understanding leadership, meant that I was failing. And I was failing because I wasn't able to give other people a mission. I wasn't able to incorporate those people in my vision and what I was trying to accomplish and achieve. And I don't want that to be you. Most leasing teams, businesses, they operate from the bottom of the ladder. They're chasing tasks. They're chasing to-dos. They're chasing tactics, strategies, goals. They don't operate from mission. I need you to flip it, okay? At least that's what we do at Red Maples. Conquerors build from top down. They start from the mission. They look at what do we need to do to change the world? What's a calling on your heart that you've been set out to change the world? It doesn't have to be in your real estate business right now. You can incorporate that calling in your real estate business. Let me give you a simple example. I was working with a real estate investor one year, and he told me that 10% of all of his revenue went to a child cancer hospital. He was passionate about this child cancer hospital. He sat on the board of this child cancer hospital, and he was able to take what he was doing for a living and turn it into a mission. And I wanted to lease his units because I wanted to help him fund that mission and that dream. You can turn any area of passion that you have on your heart that you feel is a calling into utilizing your goals and your strategies and your tactics and tasks. You can align all of those things under what that mission is for your life. But you have to start with the mission. You don't end with the mission. You decide what you want to achieve first. You understand what you've been called or who you've been called to be first. And then you put those goals in place. Then you're working through something a lot bigger than yourself. Mission is the North Star. It filters the rest of the chain. It is literally, if you want to know what your compass is, go back and watch the last episode when I talk about maps versus compasses. If you want to know what your compass is your goals, your strategy, your tactics. Your mission is the magnetic weight that's pulling you towards accomplishing those things. And that compass will tell you whether you're on or off track. But if you don't have the magnet pulling the compass needle in the right direction, that compass is just either going to spin or do nothing. It's not going to be helpful. So you want to make sure that you have a mission bigger than yourself, beginning with the end in mind, as Stephen Covey said, right? Most great leaders talk about their vision, and they get their vision from their mission, their goals, their strategies, their tactics, and their tasks. All right. I want to tell you a story. When I first got clear on our mission, it was about doing the right thing. It was about seeking the truth in every situation. It was about building partnerships with investors. When I first got clear on our mission, it was about the real estate investor versus the slumlord. It was about innovation. These are the things that mattered to me and my business partner when we first put Red Maples together. They sound an awful lot like core values, but the core values don't give us the mission, okay? They help to lay the foundation for what that mission is. And so we just set out and understood before we had these core values in place, before we had our mission in place, we had no real business. There wasn't a lot of people coming to us. There wasn't a lot of people asking us to manage their property. But when we said, we want to become a performance-driven property management company rooted in these core values, the entire organization changed. Now we had core values along with what we wanted to achieve. Ultimately, what was laying on our heart is a mission, okay? And investors can see that. When you look into Nathan Bush, when you look into Red Maples, you're going to find countless hours of video. You're going to find countless posts online. And all of them lean on my heart, on our core values, on what separates us as a performance-driven organization versus just a property manager. What makes us help work from an institutional management perspective, large company perspective, help you achieve and scale your goals and hit your goals as an investor. What allows us to do that is our mission. And that's what you can build into your organization. Hey, Nathan here. I'm jumping in just to tell you, I wrote the Caesar method because when I first started in sales, I read all kinds of books. I read the influence books, I read the marketing books, I read the leadership books, and there's plenty of those out there. I really felt like in the books that I read, there was a lot of tactics, there was tools, and there was tips. Ultimately, that could be used for manipulation and deceit, and they were just not in alignment with my values. So I wrote this book, The Caesar Method, for you because I had a lot of people asking me, Nathan, how do you influence with trust? How do you bring people into a movement? How do you help people understand the steps of a sales process without tricking or evading questions or not being able to just be who you are? So I wrote the book for you to help you achieve your goals and influence, whether you're a leader or a salesperson, you're a leasing agent, listing agent, it doesn't matter. If you use influence, you can use the Caesar method. You can go to www.nathanbushmba.com/book and get a copy of the book. And I know you're going to love the book. Would you do me a favor? If you love it, will you share it with somebody? That's how I build a movement. That's how people grow with me, is that they share the opportunity. Again, www.nathanbushmba.com. Grab a copy of the book and lead well. So think to yourself, what is my mission? What's my personal mission? 10 years from now, who do I want to be? What types of services bring meaning to my life? Who do I want to serve? What are my strengths? All these things will help you determine what that mission can be. What am I willing to sacrifice for that mission? Once you have your mission determined, you got to decide what you're willing to give up. There's nothing in this life for free. Just like you won't rent your property to somebody for free, just like the leasing agent's going to expect to be paid the commission whenever they lease the property, nothing in this life is free. Everything comes at a sacrifice. Think about the sacrifices that Ethan Hunt, James Bond, the group of Saving Private Ryan, the CIA agent in Zero Dark 30 or Jason Bourne. Think about the sacrifices they're making all along the way to help them achieve their mission. They're taking calculated risks. Do I give this up so that I can achieve what I'm trying to get as far as that outcome goes? I'm not talking about some goal. It's not a goal that they have. It's a specific mission that they're on. See, if you give up something for a goal, that's kind of like manipulation. If I'm just giving it up in order to achieve a goal, I'm really negotiating with somebody to try to coerce them into helping me achieve my greater means, my ends. But if I'm on a mission, that's not for myself. That's something larger than me. It's something I'm willing to sacrifice for, and people can feel that. I often take this back to tithing at church. If you think about just maybe you're not spiritual, maybe you're not religious, it's okay. Just hang in there. Think this through with me. Church teaches you to give 10% of your income to church in order for your heart to be right in your finances. There's a reason they teach that. It's about making personal sacrifices for something greater than yourself. It helps you understand as a person the difference between selfishness and greed and good financial stewardship. Do the same thing when you're on mission. Understand the difference that there's sacrifice involved in order to be a good steward as a leader towards the mission that's on your heart. See, these are big changes that you can make. There are things that you can do to help you achieve the things that are already sitting inside of you. The reason you're frustrated, just hear me out. The reason you're frustrated is you spend a lot of time chasing goals. You've spent a lot of time trying to hit the next number, the next thing, but you've spent no time thinking about how that impacts other people. That's what makes you frustrated. If you understand the impact that you're having, you're doing this from a different place because you're willing to sacrifice in order to get there. And that's a major difference. You're not doing it on the backs of other people. You're doing it in relationship with other people. And making those changes in your business, guys, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. It changed my life. It helped me go from being selfish, self-centered, egotistical, uncaring, unresolved, to stewarding, to leadership, to writing books for you, to putting together programs for you, to making sure that you have the resources that you need. If you're inside the Red Maples family, you know that it's more than just property management. It's like an elite club that you get to join. You get to be part of something bigger than just real estate investors. You see that mission. I want you to be on that mission with me. And if it's not my mission, that's okay. Pick your own. Just don't have no mission and going out and being just that goal-driven, arrogant, self-centered person. It doesn't work. In fact, it detracts people, deters people, and those are the types of clients that unfortunately long-term Red Maples can't work with. We say, you're out of here because you're unwilling to be in a partnership, which is one of our core values that helped us set our mission. You're unwilling to be flexible in what you're trying to achieve to make sure that it serves other people, which building community is part of our core values. It's what helped us set our mission. And so I want you to just think about it from that perspective. When you build a mission, you can bring other people with you. And we do. We bring lots of investors with us. We bring lots of people online trying to help you achieve your goals. See, this doesn't cost you anything to be a part of this program. You can watch my show for free, garner all the information, take it back and apply it yourself. You can teach your property. You could show this to your property manager right now and teach them how to build a mission-driven organization. It costs you $0. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to be on my mission. Do you see how that works? All right. So I want to bring it home. I want to bring this home. Okay? We're going to talk about the leasing application. When you lease like a conqueror, every touch point reflects your mission. I want you to think about every aspect of your leasing through the mission statement. Is this on mission or off mission? Is this who we are or is it not who we are? For instance, in our application, we have a core value of seeking the truth. That means if Joe Blow gives me his paycheck stubs and it says John's Landscaping Service on top, and I Google John's Landscaping Services and I can't find it, and I call the phone number and they answer the phone, hello, that paycheck stub may or may not be true at this point. It may be a fake paycheck stub. I have to spend some time investigating it and seeking the truth because it's part of our core values. It's embedded in the application process. Do you see how that works? The next thing I want you to think about when you lease like a conqueror and bringing this all home for the application process and being on mission is the leasing process becoming your leadership. Is part of that process, are you leading people into that mission or are you pushing them away from that mission? See, if you're goal focused, what are you bringing people into? You have nothing to bring them to. But if you're mission focused, now you can lead them into that process. So mission's critical in the application process. Attract your tenants with your values. The same way I'm talking about the values today, it's like a major presentation for Red Maples. Imagine that. I'm giving you who we are so that you can make a determination. Do you align with that? Those core values are critical. Do you incorporate those in your leasing process? Do you talk about them with your tenants? You retain tenants longer because your mission speaks to them. People are committed to missions. They're not committed to your goals. Let me say that a different way. People aren't committed to your goals. They're committed to your mission. If you have a mission, they'll stay with you a lot longer. If all you have is goals, once you hit 1,000 units, you're done anyways. What do you need them for? They're not part of that bigger mission. They're not part of your vision that you have long term. And then you build a brand, really, honestly, even if it's an investment portfolio. Hey, there's certain brands that if I were to say them in the real estate industry that I don't have permission to name today, there's certain brands in the real estate industry, if I said their name, you would know who they are. If I say the word Red Maples, you know who that is. It's a brand. It's a reputation. But that brand didn't just come out of nowhere. It came on the mission that we were pointing to. It came on what we were trying to help lead people towards. As a real estate investor, I'm sure you want a performance-driven partner, one who watches your KPIs, who has a mission-driven leasing process, who has core values, that sticks to those core values and doesn't deviate from them, that's consistent in those processes, that's a leadership-based organization. I'm sure you have inside of you, you have a certain desire for that, or you wouldn't be watching this show. So we're mission-focused. If you just put a little bit of effort into it, you'll be mission-focused as well. I want to give you something a little deeper. I know we've gone real deep. But today, I brought up tithing, I brought up sacrifice, and I want to take this just one step further. If you're not a follower of Christ, totally understandable, okay? It doesn't mean you can't garner or learn something from what I'm about to teach you right now. I learned this from the Bible, and so I have some Bible verses to share with you, but these are only to help you in your mission process. Okay, so that's where I understood this from. There are 6 ways that I see God move through leaders and businesses who operate from mission. Okay, so if you're secular, there's 6 ways I see momentum pick up with other people. There are 6 ways that I see positive energy being built and cultivated in organizations across the nation. And here's where I see those things. Mark 1, chapter 3. Here's what the Bible says. Prepare the way for the Lord, make straight paths for him. Okay? Prepare the way for the Lord. So if you're mission driven, prepare the way for positive energy. Prepare the way for good things to happen in your organization. Here's how that works. You prepare the way. You sit down and you write it out and you think about it. You put it on paper. You actually clear a path for this positive momentum, this positive energy for God to work in your life. If you don't clear the way, then what you have is roadblocks. You ever felt like you couldn't hit a goal? The reason you can't hit a goal may be because you're not on mission and you haven't cleared the way. Second way this works. John 8:32. Here's what it says. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. See, when you know the truth, you know what your mission is. You've cleared a path, and now you know the truth. You can stand in alignment with that truth. It creates the path and momentum for you when you're in alignment with the truth. You know what happens if you stand outside of the truth? You get deceit and deception. You're being lied to. And so you have to be on mission to be in alignment with the truth. In Matthew 5:16, it says this, the greatest among you will be your servant. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify the Father in heaven. Here's where the problem comes in. If you're standing in alignment with truth and you've cleared the way for momentum, but you've got a bad heart and you're doing bad things, people will see that. Your reputation will be ruined. It'll get out to the world. Guess what? Your secret that you've been keeping, somebody knows. And somebody will tell somebody. And that's where your problem comes in. So you may not be able to achieve your mission if you're doing bad things. So stand in alignment with truth and clear the way for truth so it can walk you through this process of building momentum and achieving your mission. I told you guys, I didn't make this stuff up. This is where I got this from. How about this one here? Be fruitful and multiply, Genesis 1:28. Then in Matthew 13:33, it says, the kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked through the dough. Be fruitful and multiply. It's like yeast. Momentum is like yeast. When you're in alignment with truth, when you're doing the right things, when you've cleared the way for this positive energy, what happens is you begin to multiply. Things you're working on, things you're doing, it begins to multiply. Just like yeast that spreads through that dough in the passage that I just read from you, your mission starts to go out wide. It starts to impact other people. It starts to be bigger than just you. Then number 5 here, Psalms 133, 1 and 3. It says this: how good and pleasant is it when God's people live together in unity, for the Lord bestows his blessing. See, when you have a mission that you've brought people into with a good heart in alignment with truth, where you've cleared the path for others, then you have people who are standing in unity with you. Okay? They're working towards the same mission. And guess what happens? When those people are working with you towards that mission, you receive blessings. That's where the blessings come from. God wants you to serve others. This positive energy wants you to serve others. To get momentum, you have to serve others. You can't be on this mission alone. And then step number 6 here. Step number 6 that I got from the Bible. See, I'm doing, it says in Isaiah 43:19, see, I'm doing new things. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. Again, God moves in new assignments. When you're on mission, you're standing in alignment with truth. You are doing the right thing. You're bringing people involved into that mission. What happens is these people now, they have missions. They have passions. They have goals. New life starts to spring up, and therefore the momentum compounds, and they bring people into that mission. And so not only are you multiplying, not only are new things springing up, but you're doing this in such a way that's going to last for a lifetime, last for eternity, last forever. You'll be able to leave your property to your children's children. All right? This is why I find mission to be so impactful and so important in your real estate business. I'd suggest one final question. Here's my one final question to you. I want you to think about your leasing process. I want you to think about your maintenance processes. I want you to think about your renewal processes. I want you to think about your business that you have right now. And ask yourself this one simple question. Are you on mission? See you guys next week.